Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Well, I guess you all heard the news. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But among many other things, like Devin Archer surviving to actually testify, that was a question mark last night. But Adine, the singer, is suing The View. And I also heard a little something. Hi, Nikki, how you doing? Also heard a little something something on another broadcast. I believe it was Explore America. We've discussed that channel. Said something about Scarborough's got another BODY in their office 15 years after the loss of an intern. That's Joe, Morning Joe. I don't know. I tried to look that up. We'll talk about that, what's going on. But Whoopi Goldberg's being sued and all the other old crones on The View over the things they said about the singer of the song, Try That in a Small Town. Slander. And he's also going after CMT. I think he's suing The View for $40 million. And in a totally separate action, he's suing CMT for $50 million. So like I was saying, lawfare, swords cut two ways. And yeah, we'll see how that works out for all of them. Anyway, let me see who all's coming in. We got Nikki's in. Nice to see you, Sherry, Diane, B-Dog, Damon. Hi, Cliff. Hi, Donna. How are you? So, hi, Kathy. Everybody's rolling in. Quilt, Joan. I don't want to miss anybody. Hi, Randy. How you doing? So, anyway, country music television, Donna, CMT station, they refused to put his song on the air because they claimed he was RACIS and the rest is ST. So anyway, that's a beginning. Diane says Democrats out having a meltdown over Devin Archer testimony. Well, I tell you, I don't know how the Creepo News, CNN, is reporting it, but I was looking at, I keep an eye on some lefty YouTubers, and I've talked about them in the past, but I don't want to be clicking on their videos or anything or engaging with them, because all they do is, if you have a channel like mine, they just try to get you taken down, or they just mute your comment and kick you out. It doesn't matter. It's just a waste of time. But they put up something twisting it totally around, that Devin Archer was a complete failure. Trump's crying the blues and all this kind of stuff on one of their community posts. I'll read it to you here in a minute. I'm surprised he even made it. Hi, Mike, 1176. How are you doing? So, pretty sad to call your brother. Who had a saddle horn and a man bun? Kathy, I'm just trying to figure out what you're saying there. Yeah, Bobcat, that's who I'm talking about. Really loony leftists. I don't give them any comments. I just read the community post and don't do nothing. Don't give them thumbs down, thumbs up, nothing. Let them get their own creepos in the comments and everything. So anyway, they've got control of the Mockingbird crowd, and a lot of videos out today about that so-called comedian who went on Joe Rogan, still trying to bash Trump, and Joe Rogan was laying stuff out about J6 that I'm sure the guy has never heard of. He's just got this totally cemented in his head that was an actual insurrection that Trump started. Like one meme said, there was 100 million people there. If they wanted you to see something like that, you just saw it. Not a bunch of staged actors and agent provocateurs. So he looked rather ridiculous trying to repeat the talking points, always putting Trump in a bad light. I mean, that's like I say, they're running out of ammo. And this is, I said fifth dimensional warfare. It's fifth generational, but you could say fifth dimensional, but it's fifth generation. It's getting information out. It's getting to reach out to people to change the national consciousness. People are just not conscious of what a lot of things going on. Hi, Angel. How you doing? Dottie, Lisa. So I'm just checking who else is rolled in. So anyway, hi, Gary. How you doing? Ha ha. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that. I haven't heard anything, but I am keeping an eye out for it about that lawsuit with Saturday Night Live by those underage and the families of the underage kids that were being passed around at the parties. And that coincided with the late night shows shutting down. Now we've got all of Hollywood and all of entertainment pretty much frozen. So you end up with this character, this comedian that went on Rogan's show and really appeared exactly what he is, overly upset over nothing and confused over the facts. That's pretty much what you're dealing with by someone who has had their head pumped full of mockingbird media that does not make sense. What you hear from them does not make sense with what you see in the world, but it is powerful. And that is why Mr. T said they were the fake news was the enemy of the people. The most effective thing they have in this fifth generation warfare. Hi, Pappy Two Bears. How you doing? Miss Bender Sue, how are you doing? So, let's see. Your brother was a Coast Guard in a truck driver in Idaho? Question mark. I don't know. Are you asking me? I don't know if he was or not. But I think you're saying he was or is. A coastie and a trucker. And I guess y'all heard about Pee Wee Herman. Somebody put up a community post about Pee Wee Herman, or was either that or on Truth Social. I think it was Pasovic put up something that said, you watch how Hollywood, how they destroy someone who makes a mistake or whatever, like they did Pee Wee Herman. We all know what he got himself in trouble for, but how they cover for the rest. And then you'll know whether that person was on the dark side or not. So the intimation being that Pee Wee Herman was not in with the in crowd. And you know what the in crowd is in Hollywood and politics. But anyway, his name was Paul Rubens, best known for his role as Pee Wee Herman, has sadly passed away at the age of 70. Rest in peace. I'm reading this off of a post movie clips put up. So he was born in 1952, and he had been secretly battling cancer. So anyway, um, nobody came to support him or be on his side through anything. But what's the one that just got let off on a lawsuit? Kevin Spacey. He's got all his friends. Gary was a coastie. All right. Yeah, I had the letter that Alexander Hamilton wrote when they established the Coast Guard. I'm sure you all will know what I'm talking about, Gary. The letter Alexander Hamilton wrote of what was expected of members of the U.S. Coast Guard, and it was basically a guideline for how to treat people on the high seas. And I'll have to pull that back up again. High standard of behavior that the Coast Guard has always kept. The Alexander Hamilton letter. Well, outlandish. I didn't hear that he was that. I didn't hear that. Never heard stories about him. And when he did what he did, and he was in what he did was in a CD. I mean, how long ago was that? 30 years? Back when characters went to smut film movie houses or something like that, and he was, wasn't about kids or anything. He was just exhibiting degenerate behavior in an adult setting and got caught. So I've never heard anything about that, outlandish. But Spacey, yeah, he's the weirdo. He's the weirdo. Always ready. That's right, Dave. Yeah, he was not a P3DO. Rubens. But anyway, just checking through the chat, see what's going on. So anyway, Kevin Spacey, he walked. I tell you, I was wondering after we did a live stream last night, what in the world would make Obama show up right after what happened on his property or on the pond on his property? Why would he show up with a black guy and tape around his fingers at a golf course? I mean, a little bit of makeup would have covered the eyeball thing, and wear a golfing glove, wear a racket glove or something, sports glove. Real simple. And it was just struck me as odd afterwards. Why would he, hi, Em, how you doing? Yeah, he was funny, Pee Wee was funny. But he had a weird private life, and but no little ones were involved. So that's the main thing. Why would Obama go to the golf course without putting a glove over the tape on his fingers and a little bit of? I'm sure Mike Shell had plenty of Maybelline or whatever kind of, I don't know nothing about makeup, but I'm sure Mike Shell could have covered that up easy enough. So it's just weird. Just weird. And I'm wondering, talking about keeping an eye on things. They said that the investigating officers left a lot of really run-of-the-mill, a police report, you fill out certain things, important things, and they left out some stuff that every other police report has got filled out except for the Obama report. And I'm going to be wondering, people who responded to the scene, I hope they don't get a case of depression as to where they just feel like life's not worth living anymore, if you know what I mean. Something to keep an eye on. Now, wouldn't that be suspicious? And I've said in my past broadcast, but I got a lot of new subscribers, so I'll say it again. I had two friends. I still have two friends. Well, one that I see and talk to quite often that were retired Capitol Police over 20 years, and prior to that, MPs in the military. And I asked them right after, about 2 months after J6, have you guys ever had your colleagues, can you remember one of the people on the Capitol Police Force ever committing you-know-what-aside? And he said, no, never. I can't. He said, I'm not saying anybody, that somebody didn't. Somebody could have, but he said, I'd never heard of it in 20 years. And we keep track. He said, we keep track of, the Capitol Police, it's not a huge service, and they have bulletins and keep up with what's going on. He said, I don't remember ever hearing about somebody taking their own life. I'll put it that way, since I can't use the other word. So I said to him, well, after J6, at least 4 of them did after the J6 thing. And he was never one of these types that looks at the stuff we're looking at. I'll put it that way. Thought that Trump lost, kind of halfway believe some of the stuff they say. Somebody that just doesn't keep up with the news and put 2 and 2 together. There's plenty of people like that. But after we had that discussion about those Capitol Hill officers committing, I'll say it one time, committing suicide, 4 of them, it's opened a lot of doors for him mentally. Okay. And he also verified what I was saying, and later was said by what's his name, everybody listens to, with the cowboy hat, Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson was talking about it a year after I was talking about it, that they gave Biden, his 21 gun salute was a type of 21 gun salute they give at a military funeral. I had the videos in my phone that I was sharing with my friend who was a Capitol Hill police officer. And I told him, I said, this is the wrong 21 gun salute for Biden. And then I had the video from when Trump was sworn in. He had the proper inaugural 21 gun salute. And that's what got him on the road to checking things out. Hi, Roy. So, and then a year later, I guess I should have done more than one video on it, but Derek Johnson came on the scene and everybody was like, hey, I never do that. Well, I knew right when it was going on. But anyway, that's enough of that. The other thing about somebody passing away, there's this guy, Angus Cloud, star of HBO's Euphoria. How many of you all are familiar with that? I do not have HBO. I have never paid for a subscription or any cable package that had HBO. Many of you may remember last week or a couple weeks ago, I was talking about how they designed those cable packages to maneuver smut and counterculture, MTV, BET, everything that showed things that S3 actualized our children using cable packages. Now they could just freely do it with the internet and TikTok trash. But this star died yesterday or today, 25 years old, 25. And they said, click here. It was an ABC News thing on that posted on Utizzle. So I said, well, let me see what happened. I clicked on it. It was just like a 30-second short that said the same thing that I read, but then it said the cause of his passing is unknown. Okay. So, hey, it's getting hard to hide all these young people keeling over. And especially with Rand Paul. Rand Paul doing another criminal referral on Dr. Fauci. So let me see, I got a notice here. Thank you, Gary. Gary, I can, that reminds me, I went over an hour last night before I even mentioned it. This is a viewer-supported, creator-supported channel only. I have a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. And I want to thank Gary tonight for helping sponsor the show. Give me some booms. I don't have my boomer. Thank you, Gary. You've been a big help with Buy Me a Coffee. And Norm helped me out this past week. I've had Gary's help this past week. Kirsten and Lisa have helped us last week. Wake and Trillium, Camperman helped. I appreciate it. Thank you, Gary, very much. But let me get back at you, Gary. Love you too. Kicking Bird, how you doing? So thank you, Nikki, for putting the link in for me. Anyway, so we got another young person that is very famous, and it's a mystery as to what happened to him. So I have been going through a lot of different social media sites, trying to get a feel. I don't want to keep myself in a echo chamber, you know, where everything I look at is singing my song. That's why I go to that, like what we talked about earlier, Midas Touch. I check them out because I want to know what's going on the other side. And Bobcat mentioned that too. So he probably checks them out too. So I don't stay in an echo chamber. That's when you get in situations where you're talking with somebody that doesn't understand or have never heard what you think they have heard. And there's a big miscommunication there. And so if I know I'm dealing with somebody who has been in a lefty echo chamber, they may not be lefty, but they may get trapped by the Mockingbird system to only have a certain amount of information in their mind. Like my friend that was a retired Capitol Police officer that didn't really have a lot of suspicion about 2020 election. But after we had those discussions and I was able to point out the things I mentioned earlier, now he does. And now he is going outside of the echo chamber. He didn't even realize they built around him and going and looking at other things. That's what it takes. It takes to, first of all, identify the echo chamber and then kick a hole in it that people can poke their heads out and see what's going on in the real world. So this is what this Midas Touch bunch was saying. They were having a live stream tonight. I guess it's already over with. They have a podcast, and here's their highlighted points. They got a picture of Trump with a sad face, and that little soy boy lawyer or host or whatever he is. I don't know if he's a lawyer or not. Laughing beside Trump with a sad face. Trump crumbles at rally under increasing pressure. Trump crumbles at rally under increasing pressure. This last rally he did was one of his best, one of his biggest rallies. And he put out, in no uncertain terms, many earth-shattering changes he's going to make. And they say that he loses it at a rally. It's a big failure. When he got more people, I guess you all have seen the bulletin, his rally at that particular venue got more people there than Kiss, all these big name bands, record setting. But no, to promote their broadcasts, to get all these mouth breathing Trump haters, they say Trump crumbles at rally under increasing pressure. GOP's star witness scheme goes bust in a humiliating way. Talking about Devon Archer. Devon Archer spilled the beans. Devon Archer flipped on the Bidens, told on them. It's in the congressional record. Then they go on to say Fannie Willis says she's ready to go. Trump has a motion to have her kicked off the case. That's yet to be decided for bias. But according to them, she's ready to go. President Biden's new student debt update and more. That's the hook, folks. Never mind about them talking about Trump rally going bad, lying about that. Never mind them lying about Devon Archer. Never mind them holding up some unknown prosecutor with absolutely nothing more than a dismal record. Never mind any of that. The hook is free stuff. Biden student loan update. How many of them that come to that broadcast that hope and pray for something terrible to happen to Trump have got God knows how many tens of thousands of dollars in student debt, and they're just bums wanting somebody else to pay it off. So yeah, they get 200,000 views. It's what it's reported. And all kinds of crazy stuff. They just know Trump isn't going to be handing out other people's money. Hi, Phil. How you doing? That's right. Worldwide, the world will be set free. These governments that are oppressive and have got this communist infiltration, this administrative states where unelected people run your lives, that's going to be destroyed in many countries around the world, not just America. We're the elites. Remember that. Jamie, that's right. He's 45 secure. Derek Johnson was saying on the X22 show, I didn't listen to it because I understand where Derek Johnson's come from, but he's not telling me anything I don't already know. So I'm not going to spend an hour re-listening to things, but he does not come up with fantastic stuff. He comes up with provable stuff, but he doesn't have to prove the stuff to me. I already know what's going on, but he said it was a 7-year plan. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how long that plan was. That plan's so people automatically say, "Oh, Trump had 4 years, Biden's been in for 2, so the 7-year plan is coming this year or next year." No, we know something's going to happen. We just don't know when. We don't want the opponent. I'll use that instead of ENEMY, right? We don't want the opponent to know either. So, but anyway, it's way more than the 7-year plan because Trump had already ironed the big part of it out with the right people in the military before Obama even started his second term. So if you remember that correspondence dinner when Trump was in the audience and Obama singled him out while Obama was speaking, and he said, "And let me tell you something else. No, Donald Trump, you'll never be president." That was years before he ran. Trump never said he was going to run. And so word probably got leaked out that they were talking or had something set up. So, yeah, it's at least a 10-year plan. At least a 10-year plan. And plans change. You got to have plan A, plan B, all the way down to plan Z. I know I repeat myself, but Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody's got a plan till they get a punch in the face. And I know we have a lot of people under control. I know there are people that are in custody now. But I don't buy the stuff they're selling with these transcripts of actual trials of Hillary and things like that. But I do know that there's stuff that's been going on that Hollywood shut down for a reason. The late night shows shut down over a month ago for a reason. Oprah had a bracelet on her ankle for a reason. Ellen DeGeneres had a black bracelet on her ankle for a reason. Tom Hanks is sitting on a rock island in Greece for a reason. So things have been happening. I know they've been happening. I played that clip last night of DJT giving an outdoor press conference. We beat them. We beat them. What they did was commit treason. So that was 4 years ago. And he wasn't going to make statements like that without backup and without people in certain positions understanding that they've been beaten and they're either out of the picture or they're going to play ball with us. And there are some that are going to fight to the bitter end. They are not pushovers. These are evil, vicious people, and they stick together. And this is an international criminal enterprise. So it's not just smacking Nancy around and Hillary and Chuck and all Schumer and all that and Maxine Waters. No, we've got an international 1,000-year expertise criminal cabal, and many of them, yes, they do worship Satan. You know, they've been trying to get Melania, but the judge called off the dogs yesterday, and that judge hates Trump. But I mean, even they know they're pushing it too far. They're not going to get away with. They tried to subpoena Melania, and I call him Judge Mascara, one that's overseeing this. I think the New York prosecutions told them they couldn't go after Melania. So I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. They might try again. So I gotta get down in the chat to see what's happening. I'm way up. Once I scroll down, I can't scroll back up too far though. So anyway, so we've got these losers that are carrying on a podcast. I might check it out just to see how many views, how many people actually, but you see, you can't even count on that. But I did click on the comments just to read some comments. And it's, people are not connected with reality. And, I don't put any comments, tell them they're crazy or anything like that. But it is really where these people, either they're desperate to get a free ride on their student loans, and that's all they care about, and they know Trump doesn't want to pay off their student loans for nothing. That's why they hate him. Or if they're in an echo chamber and they don't even know it, and they're hearing nothing but Rachel Madcow and The View. And when Ellen DeGeneres used to do her show, all those were parts of the Mockingbird media. The late night crowd, comedians, they were all part of the Mockingbird media. Remember Stephen Colbert dancing with syringes about getting the GAB? So I can, dismiss them, let them carry on, because it's going to be more and more difficult for them to ignore or refute the obvious. And the echo chamber that they're in is crumbling. I had to kick a hole in the echo chamber my friend was in, my friend in the Capitol Police, so he could look outside that and see for himself about the 21 gun salute, see for himself about 4 people committing suicide, see for himself the video of when Ashley Babbitt actually did get shot. I mean, I had that video. They've all been taken down. It was after that I decided to start doing videos on my own and learn how to record videos and post them. So when I went to show another friend, I said, yeah, let me show you this video when it actually shows the GUN, the guy behind the door, and I mean, complete view of Ashley Babbitt getting popped. And it was gone out of my phone. I said, what that? So now here I am. That's one of the reasons. And my friend I was going to show the video to thought I was crazy. And that's what they like to do, is make you look crazy. That's part of their job. Jamie said, continuity of government. Well, to explain it all would be an entire hour. In a nutshell, COG, continuity of government, is what a lot of people are saying we're under right now. Continuity of government is if there's a disaster, there's something in place to make sure that the basic functions of the Constitution and the security functions of the nation continue to run with the proper people in place that are meant to run it, namely constitutional officers. Also, besides COG, I'm not saying we're not under COG. You have the Insurrection Act, and I think that Trump invoked that after J6. I think Trump invoked the Insurrection Act. I think that's what we're under. And I think that the area, I am going to try to find this clip because I don't think they took it down. Before January 6th, after the election, Nancy Pelosi was trying to get, now if you all go back in your memory banks, Nancy Pelosi was trying to get Milley to take the football away from Trump because she was claiming he was dangerous and that he was trying to stay in office. Do you remember that? And Milley told Nancy Pelosi, what you're talking is treason. Well, anyway, around that same time, let me see if you folks in chats remember this. News reporters were actually asking, what are you going to do if Trump refuses to leave the White House? This was before January 6th. Nancy Pelosi said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he doesn't leave the White House, because that's nothing but a geographical location. That's daggone near her exact words. His geographical location doesn't matter. In other words, she was intimating that they would set Biden up as president in a location other than the White House if Trump refused to leave. I'm going to find that clip. And guess what? She's right. So if she's right, Biden sitting in the White House is just a geographical location. Good for the goose is good for the gander. It's captured territory. DC is a city-state. They call it the District of Columbia, but it is its own city-state, like the Vatican is a city-state, like London is a city-state. And, well, okay. How do we get through this with the least human suffering? The first law of war. Remember when General Flynn got booed? He was asked, when are we bringing out the military? Or do you think the military needs to get involved? And he said no. And he was taking a breath to say another sentence. Everybody started going, boo. And he got drowned out. He was saying, there's no need. There's no need. He said it twice. There's no need, because anybody, a student of just a little bit of history, please imagine if Trump actually did engage the military, what kind of world we'd have been living in for a period of time. It would have been chaos. I don't care if it was just a week or 2 weeks, or if everybody says, oh, well, it would have been a problem for me. Well, it would have been a problem for a lot of people who are not prepared for a societal breakdown. A lot of police stations that aren't prepared. Like I said, you can get hurt very badly in 3 minutes, and it takes the cops 5 minutes. You lose, okay? If the cops can even come. And so military planners would say, okay, this is my thoughts, just my thoughts. Let them be in that dump, okay? Let them be in that captured territory. Because if we try, for the sake of, quote, honor or ego or whatever, to hold that territory, the White House, the District of Columbia, and by doing that, we cause such upheaval across the entire country that would cause unnecessary human suffering. The other option is to have them fail. Let them have the ball, run with the ball, fall on their face. Let them do what that old country saying is. Let them show their backsides. Okay? Wake the people up. Let them see exactly how corrupt, inept, how anti-constitutional they actually are. But as far as the continuity of government is going, as far as foreign policy, you know that there is discussions with other nations, the militaries of other nations. We've been bound by treaties for decades that the military is the only ones that can enforce. In certain instances, like the one that Putin brought up in Helsinki, working together with police actions to catch and convict criminals that commit crimes on one another's soil. Russia's not the only country we have that agreement with. I would venture to say we have that agreement with Israel. I would venture to say we have that treaty with Brazil. I would venture to say we've got that agreement with a lot of countries we don't even know about. So for continuity of government, one of the things you'd have to make sure of to make sure there is a continuity is that you would be able to oversee these treaties and their enforcement. And I'm sure things are coordinated and being worked together. That's why Bolsonaro is back in Brazil. Okay, they're not bothering him. They're not touching him. And Bolsonaro's, when he was in Florida, he met with Trump, but he also was talking to some citizens at a convenience store. And he said something to the effect of, if you only knew what was coming or what was going to happen, if you only knew. So yes, something big is coming. We know we've been hearing it for years that it's going to be biblical. And biblical isn't people going to jail or losing their job. That's not biblical. Biblical is going to be a positive upheaval in our social fabric. Retribution is not losing vacation days as a government worker because you did something wrong. You can think for yourself as to what biblical means when it comes to the time to have retribution and the introduction of justice into a corrupt system. So I tell you, there was one guy I listened to years back who was discussing continuity of government, and his name was Citizen Man. And you might be able to find him on Facebook, but he's been taken down off of YouTube. I don't know how many times. I'm sure he's not able to come back, but it's sprinkled in there with a lot of other stuff you got to be leery of. Okay. But he does go over continuity of government and the Masons and things of that nature. I don't get into too much stuff that can lead you down the wrong path. We're looking at our Constitution. Okay, we're looking at what this country was founded on, Judeo-Christian principles, and I do not want to leave out the Muslim faith or any faith of goodwill. But we were found on religious principles, and that's what I focus on, and the actual meaning and the content of our Constitution. Let's see. Well, Patriot missile, I hate to see you talk like that. I really do. You know, I think it's been a fantastic journey and we are fortunate to have leaders. And I said this in another broadcast. and I was going to put your comment up top, but I'm not going to put it up top. Patriot missile. But basically, I'm done with this crap. It's tiresome. The crime family needs to be locked up after today's testimony. Well, we're getting there. This testimony would have never happened if there'd have been some kind of forceful attempt to maintain Trump in the White House. It had been lost in the chaos. And we are so fortunate to have such brilliant military leaders and a patient and tough genius as a leader, Donald J. Trump. Look how far we've come. And as I said before, don't be angry at it. Embrace it. Try to understand it and appreciate this historical time. There are heroes being made every day, every week. And we've got way more good people fighting on our side than bad. That's right. 2018, Diane, he did go to all those other countries. You know, Saudi Arabia is going to participate. All those countries that you saw Trump go to and get a hero's welcome, they're on board. And there's no better way to root them out. We're giving the judicial system an enema. We're giving the prosecutors all around this country. We're flushing them out. All these crooked politicians, all these state houses that have been corrupted to an irreparable degree, they're going to get flushed out. And how do you get them? How do you trap a dangerous animal? Trump's the bait for that dangerous animal. They're going to come after Trump. He's the bait. And the American people are going to be the trap. I was told that if I kept my videos under an hour, I would have a better chance of getting uploaded on Rumble automatically, which is, I've told you I've been having problems with that. I don't know. It's very, very frustrating. I'll have to manually upload a lot of my videos. What I might do, folks, is play some of my videos that didn't get uploaded to Rumble. I will just live stream them on Rumble. And that I don't know how I can do that. I know how, but I'll make sure I don't have any interruptions in my transmission or anything like that. But anyway, I do want to talk about how I feel things are going to progress from here on out in such a way that respects the first law of war, which is humanity, and to achieve your goal with the least human suffering. And I did mention last night for you all to think about that. If you were in charge, how would you get there? How would you get the people to where it's their victory? History books will show that the American people had a righteous victory. They rose up. It's provable fact that this nation had a collective consciousness toward good, a collective consciousness that embraced the Constitution and defeated these evil powers. Not that the military came in and enforced the military's will, that the American people enforced the will. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And it's going to get harder and harder every night for this corrupt media to continue this facade. They're relying on these channels that I just discussed. I tell you, I see a lot of I'll say creators of color, young creators that do reaction videos. And so here's this young guy He's a black guy, got a channel that the real a dog. But he's got, he's got a pretty good following. And he's the one that did a video. He reviewed a video of Aldine suing The View. And I watched his video. And then I went, like I say, I don't want to be in an echo chamber. I want to see what other people are thinking, especially people in different age groups. I don't care so much about the race part of it. It's the culture that they're raised in, the age group, Gen Z, what is it? I'm a boomer. I don't know about all this stuff came later, but anyway, I don't know what generation he would be, and he looks to me about 30. So he did a video and he said, I never knew. First of all, I never knew that Whoopi Goldberg had a show called The View. And this guy is a comedian. He's got a channel he does jokes and stuff on. And he also does another channel, he does these reviews. And like I say, he's in his 30s. He said, I never knew Whoopi had her own show. And I thought, holy cow, see, there's an example of where I could be talking to somebody in my brain. I'm talking about The View, how we all know how crazy those old bats are. For how many, 17 years, we just saw their producer passed away after 17 years. Remember that story, folks? But anyway, so here's somebody in his 30s that had no idea the show even existed. So he does a review on a video about Aldine, who wrote Try That in a Small Town, suing The View. So I said, well, this is going to be interesting. That's when he said he didn't know anything about The View. And he said, I always liked Whoopi. I thought she was funny. I remember her movies when I was a kid, Sister Act and all that. He said, I watched this video and some of the clips from her in The View. He said, I couldn't believe it. She's turned into a nasty person, an awful person. And so he went ahead and played the video, the reaction video. His video says O-S-H-I-T. Whoopi is PO'd. Jason Aldean sues Whoopi Goldberg for defaming him, Small Town Song. So they played some clips of Whoopi giving her philosophy on small towns. Then Whoopi saying, well, Jason Aldean, if you're proud of the fact that people in your small town look out for each other, well, guess what? You were using video of BLM people that were standing up for people in their communities. People in big towns stand up for each other too, and that's how we stand up for each other. And this guy was like, can you believe this? She's saying that burning down stores, and now this is this guy coming to first of all, probably one of the first times he ever listened to a country song. Maybe, I don't know. Two, he's just now finding out about a thing called The View. Three, he finds out somebody he thought was just a harmless comedian that made him laugh when he was a kid has turned into an insane person on television trying to justify burning cities down. So it was a fun reaction video to watch. So I went to the comments and let me see what some of these people said. Somebody said, I used to absolutely love Whoopi. She was one of my favorite actresses. But since you went on The View and spit out such horrible, evil stuff about everyone, especially anyone that has a different view from her, I lost all respect. As for the rest of those nasty, cackling hens, they can just get rid of that horrible show. And so there were a lot of comments like that. And he wasn't the only one that didn't even know the View existed, but it is a huge part of the Mockingbird media. Somebody else put up, I kept asking myself how long she has been this way and kept it quiet. It didn't used to be popular to talk like this. Somebody else said they can just get rid of that horrible show. It's no longer let's have a conversation. It's just hate and fear mongering. So there is a change in the culture. There's a change in the echo chamber. Now I went on that tangent, went over an hour. I don't know. I don't have a producer or nothing. I'm on my own. But anyway, I do want to keep it close to an hour if possible, folks. I will, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so you'll know when I go live. I'm not sure when I'll go live, but if you hit the notification bell, you'll get a notification. You can come join the chats or just watch the chats go by. Let me see here, Chris. What a minute. Oh, Chris, we're so sorry to hear that, honey. We'll be praying for you, Chris. So anyway, folks, everybody say a prayer for Chris and her son, 17-year-old son. And I'll be going live probably tomorrow. I don't know. So let's all plan on getting together as soon as possible. And I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. Just like this, what we just saw in the chats is why we say precious time. Okay, our precious time. All right, so I'll be seeing you all soon. So anyway, this is Mountain Man over and out.